Welcome to my writing and editing lesson. We're going to be practicing how to take a piece of writing that you've already written and edit it to make it even better, so then you can make a final copy of it that has no spelling errors, no capitalization errors, and no punctuation errors, so then you're ready to show it to everyone and it'll be your best work. This is a piece of writing that I wrote myself about my favorite book, so we're going to read through it one time all together and keep your eye out for any errors that you notice, whether they be punctuation, capitalization, or spelling errors. Please help me by being a detective and looking out for any errors you see in my writing, because even teachers make mistakes, right? My favorite book is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. It is my favorite book to read because the Lorax is so cute. I also like that he is orange. I like how this story tells us not to cut down trees. Trees are good for the earth. I also like all the silly words Dr. Seuss put in this book. That is why I love The Lorax. I don't know about you, but I definitely saw some errors in this writing. So let's work together to try and edit this piece to make it looking its best. The first thing that you're going to need to edit your lesson is a few different colored pens, pencils, or markers to help mark up your writing. Using a red marker to correct my capitalization, a blue marker to help my punctuation, and a black marker to help me fix my spelling. So first, I'm going to pick one of these things to focus on. So let's start off by taking our red marker or pen or pencil or whatever you have at home and start looking for some capitalization errors. Let's take a close look at my first sentence here. My favorite book is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. So, do you see anything wrong with that? I'm noticing that the very first word of my sentence isn't capitalized. So we gotta put a capital M for my, because it's the beginning of a sentence. I also have the Lorax capital and Dr. Seuss capital. Those are both okay because those are both proper nouns. It is my favorite book to read because the Lorax is so cute. So I'm noticing that I put in a capital F in favorite and a capital B in book. But those aren't proper nouns because they're not a person or a place that needs to be capital. So that means that we need a lowercase letter there. So I'm going to change that into a lowercase f and a lowercase b. Also, I'm noticing that the name of a character in the book, Lorax, isn't capital, so we're going to need to put a capital L there. I'm also noticing one more mistake. Can you see what it is? Good job if you got it. It's this capital I and is. There's no reason for the I and is to be capital because it's also not a proper noun and it's not the beginning of a sentence. Let's move on to the next sentence. I also like that he is orange. Do you notice any capitalization errors in this sentence? I'm noticing again that the first word of my sentence isn't capital, which always needs to be capital. So let's change that lowercase I into an uppercase I. I think that's it for capitalization in that one. Let's check out this next sentence. I like how this story tells us not to cut down trees. Let's check. Is the first word in the sentence capital? Yep, so we're good. And there's no other proper nouns, so we're all good in that sentence. Now let's move on to the next sentence. Trees are good for the earth. I also like all the silly words Dr. Seuss put in this book. All right, do you notice anything wrong with the punctuation in this sentence starting here? I'm noticing that the first word in the sentence needs to be capital, so I'll put a capital T for trees, the beginning of a sentence. And I'm also noticing that is capital even though it doesn't need to be. So we're going to make that a lowercase t. The word earth here is capital, and that's okay because earth is a planet, which is a proper noun. I'm also noticing someone's name that isn't capitalized. Can you see where it is in this sentence here? I also like all the silly words Dr. Seuss put in this book. Do you see anything that needs to be capitalized? If you were thinking that Dr. Seuss needs to be capitalized, you're right. I noticed the same thing. So we want to put a capital D for Dr. Seuss and a capital S for Seuss because that's his last name. I think that's it for capitalization errors. Now take your blue pencil or marker or whatever you're using to correct and use this to find the punctuation errors. Alright, so in this first sentence, my favorite book is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. It has a period at the end. That's good. Next sentence, it is my favorite book to read because the Lorax is so cute. Period. That's good. I also like that he is orange, and that has punctuation right here. Looks good. I like how this story tells us not to cut down trees. And here I'm noticing that there's a question mark. But is this a question or a statement that I'm trying to say? I like how the story tells us not to cut down trees. That sounds like something that is a statement that you're saying and not a question. If it was a question, your voice would be going up at the end and you'd be asking someone something. So instead of the question mark there, we want a period. I see the next sentence is trees are good for the earth. And then it goes on to start a new sentence here. I also like all the silly words. I'm noticing that right here there isn't any punctuation, so that means we need to put one in place. I think this might be a good place to put an exclamation point because trees are good for the earth. Now with our punctuation here, we would read it like this. Trees are good for the earth. Next sentence, I also like the silly words Dr. Seuss put in this book. This last sentence reads, that is why I love the Lorax. But again, that sounds like a statement, not a question. So instead of a question mark there, we can put a period. So now that we've used our red marker to fix the capitalization, the blue marker to fix the punctuation, we're now going to move on to start fixing our spelling. So let's look for any parts where we misspelled words. It's pretty easy to misspell words, especially when you're writing, because you want to get your idea out so fast, and it's totally fine. You might make a mistake, but just look for those mistakes when you're editing. So let's see where I did any spelling errors. My favorite book is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. It is my favorite book to read because the Lorax is so cute. Oh no, I'm noticing it only says als right here. It does not say also like I want it to. So I'm going to use my black marker, go in and fix that. I'm going to add an O right here on the end since the rest of the word is already there. I also like that he is orange. Does that look like the right way to spell orange? I don't think so. So I'm going to cross it out and write the word above it. Orange. O-R-A-N-G-E. Orange. There we go. Let's go through and see if we see any other mistakes. Thank you so much for helping me edit my writing. Let's read it through one more time now that it's the best it can be, and then you all can move on to editing your own writing after this. My favorite book is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. It is my favorite book to read because the Lorax is so cute. I also like that he is orange. I like how this story tells us not to cut down trees. Trees are good for the earth. I also like all the silly words Dr. Seuss put in this book. That is why I love the Lorax. Alright, so we've made it to the end of our editing, so we should have used all of these different colors and all of our things should be done. So now you should have the tools that you need to be able to go and edit your own writing. So use good letter formation, know how to recognize these errors, and be able to read your own writing. Those are the keys that you need to be able to edit your own writing. Good luck!